All right, people. So it's a little bit of two things right now. This is actually an episode that I had planned prior to recording it tonight, and it's actually part impromptu episode because it dawned on me when I was doing actually this morning, but I somehow kept forgetting. And ladies, please forgive me, man. Please don't, start burning me at the stake because it kept slipping my mind. I apologize. But this is my way of, making it up to my female listeners up there because we did jump like a percentage or one or two or three percentages up as far as the female listening base goes, and I appreciate y'all for that, man. That is actually something I've been setting out to do for a really long time, is draw in, a lot more female listeners, man, because I know it gets kind of overwhelming possibly when, women may tune into the podcast, and I might have my little raunchy jokes here and there, and I might talk the way I talk. Like, this is my thing. I know how to conduct myself, and I think I would like to think I know how to conduct myself on the show for the last, 2 years and some change. So I'm not on here to, disrespect women at all or anything like that. I don't talk like that. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like I want to, accompany the female ear a hell of a lot more on the show, man. So I try to put a little versatility in there, here and there. I try to sprinkle the shit in every once in a while, but this is pretty much me making it up to y'all for, continuously slipping my mind throughout the day that it is International, Women's Day. And I remember I had shouted it out and made a little big thing about it when I was doing my commentary for Nosferatu. Y'all can check that commentary out if y'all want. But yes, man, nonetheless, it is International Women's Day, so gotta shout out all the women, all the queens out there, man. Whether you're a mother, a wife, a fiance, a girlfriend, a sister, a cousin, a niece, an auntie, whatever the case may be, man. Listen, let me tell y'all something, man. Um, I'm not even going to get on no crazy religious political rant right now, but I need any and every woman out there that's listening to this episode right now. Just know how appreciated y'all are, know how valued y'all are, know how amazingly cosmic and fucking phenomenal y'all are, man, and keep being awesome out there. Especially if y'all tune into the Tudor Reviews podcast, man. That definitely gives y'all a little bit more of a boost of awesome. I'm not tooting my own horn here. I'm not saying that this is some big show or platform that, you gotta be, you're popping if you listen to Tudor. No, I'm not saying all of that. I'm just saying if you guys tune in, I appreciate the hell out of y'all, and I appreciate the female, like I said, the listening, the little ratio fluctuating a little bit. I appreciate all of that. But being as though it's International Women's Day, and being as though this was long overdue, man, I actually wanted to do this on. I think it was Kelly Rowland's birthday had just passed not too long ago, and I was like, oh my god, this would be a perfect episode because she's actually featured in this episode I'm going to be talking about. Shit happened, and I either didn't record that entire night, something had went completely left, or I ended up recording something at random. Y'all know if y'all stuck with me this long, y'all know my brain is all over the goddamn place. It's hard to stick to a schedule. There was a schedule I had for this entire month. I did start it off by doing Nosferatu, but this is something I feel like gotta get this out there, today or tonight rather, people. But really quickly before I jump into this topic, I need to know. I know how I feel about it, and I'll talk about how I feel about it in a little bit. But there's a trend outside of this trend that we're going to be talking about on this episode. And I always say we're going to be talking about, or we did this, or we listened to this, because I always feel like you guys are like, I know you guys are a listening audience, but I feel like you guys are like a live audience in front of me. Like, it just feels good to get the thoughts out, and it feels good to get the feedback. So when I say we, of course I'm gonna talk about it like we're all together, like we're all in here, speaking amongst each other. But nonetheless, man, let's talk about a trend really fast, that people may or may not like. And that trend that I want to, shed a little bit of light on. I don't want to take too much of y'all time up talking about this, or the episode in general. But how does everybody feel about the trend of rappers in movies, whether it's horror movies, well, let's say horror movies in particular. You know, it sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's all I'm saying. Like, when I think of rappers in horror movies, personally, I think of, LL Cool J in Halloween H2O, or LL in Mindhunters, LL in God damn, but wasn't he in three movies? Deep Blue Sea. He was in that movie also. Some people, whoever the fuck loves this movie, I can't understand why, but to each their own. Some people think of Busta Rhymes in Halloween Resurrection. I know a lot of people might not know this, but because he's like really in the spotlight now, because people are like, oh my God, look at him and he aged so gracefully, and they're just thirsting all over this motherfucker. I think of Method Man when he was in that movie Venom, not to be mistaken with the Marvel movie Venom. But there was a movie released by Dimension Films in 2005 called Venom, and Method Man played Deputy Turner. Spoiler alert, he gets killed. Boom, just crushed everybody's dream out there for, for y'all chances to thirst and drool over Method Man and Venom. He gets killed in the first act of the movie, damn it. And the only reason I'm upset is because his arms are fucking jacked, and I don't even know how much I can bench press to get my arms there. But I'm not going to be a hater. I'm not going to be a hater right now. We're going to move on. I also, and I know a lot of other people think about, when they say rapper turns actors, they think of Ice Cube and Anaconda or Ghost of Mars or maybe Snoop Dogg and Bones. And as far as oh, and also Ice-T and Leprechaun in the Hood, Tretch is in Feast, Coolio's in Dracula 3000. Yes, people, there is a fucking Dracula 3000, but let's not get it twisted, man. There are, female rappers. It is International Women's Day, but there are female rappers that have been in horror movies, horror thrillers, whatever you want to consider them. Rod Digger was in 13 Ghosts. I actually really like Rod Digger's character a lot. I think her name was Maggie. She was like the babysitter of that, that asshole little kid who was running around on a scooter in that glass house. She's in 13 Ghosts. And I also think of Queen Latifah. Queen Latifah, the queen herself, was in Sphere, where she got fucked up by all those jellyfish underwater. They were stinging through her suit. They had to pry them bitches off of her face after, they had her on the autopsy table. Oh, fucking goodness. And Queen Latifah also was in The Bone Collector. I remember going to the movie theaters. I remember my mom taking me and my brother and sister to go see that movie when we were young bucks, man. It's actually a decent movie, but she died in that shit too. But I say all that to say this, people. As far as the trend of rappers in horror movies in particular, how many times have we flipped the script and seen, singers in horror movies? Now, for some people, it works, and some people it doesn't. I feel like it all depends on what caliber of acting these singers have, and also feel like what they're given on paper. Like, are you going to just give what's on paper, or are you going to take what's on paper and translate it in your own way? Like, is that what you are going to do? And I feel like we've seen our fair share of singers in horror movies, man. And I gotta say, I don't mind it. I don't mind it in such a way where this is exactly what I want to talk about in this episode, man. And there's a couple on this list. What do we have here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 7 on this list with some honorable mentions that we'll get to as the episode wraps up. But I do want to talk about what works and when it worked and when it didn't. And this is not going to be a dig at any of these especially not on International Women's Day. It's not going to be a dig at any of these actresses, and I'm not going to say they did terrible. I will, however, be completely honest. I'm gonna keep it a beam with y'all like I always do, and I'm going to say whether it kind of worked for me, whether it had an effect on me or not. But this is not a bashing session, and I'm pretty sure some people out there may agree with me on some of these instances, and there's going to be a bunch of people that disagree with me, of course, because like I always say, how fucking boring would the world be if we all agreed on the same thing? But while we get into the topic of singers getting scary, people, I don't want to do this in any type of particular order, but I feel like I should go backwards. I'll go backwards from, the list that I have here, and, we'll just discuss it briefly. Like I said, this is impromptu, and it's like I said, it's half and half. It's impromptu. I do have notes for it, but it wasn't intended to be a super long, some episodes drag out to be an hour long or so, maybe almost 2 hours at times, man. But I do appreciate anybody that sticks around for that long, man. Y'all are fucking awesome. But as far as singers getting scary on the screen and what works and what doesn't and who did what, where, when, why, and how, I want to start with number 8. And number 8, I have to admit, this is a movie I have not seen. I have not seen this singer turned actress. I have not seen her performance in this movie, so I want to get this one out the way. Now, I did do a trailer reaction for this movie that y'all can check out. And number 8 on this list, as far as singers getting scary, number 8 on this list is Janelle Monáe. Now, Janelle Monáe, I like Janelle Monáe's music a lot. And one of the things I really appreciate about Janelle Monáe is she's she's like a double threat gal. You know what I'm saying? She can sing and she can rap. I don't know if y'all heard was it I want to say, oh my god, I'm gonna be so mad if I get this song wrong. I know Janelle Monáe's not gonna fucking listen to the Tutor Reviews podcast, but I'm gonna be so pissed off if I get this wrong and somebody just calls me out on it. I want to say Django Jane is the name of this song, and she does a little tad bit of singing like as it starts. I don't know if that's her singing, but it sounds really crazy. The song is fucking fire. Definitely check it out if y'all haven't heard it. But she raps like Janelle Monáe has bars, man, and if it's something that like is very attractive to me, like don't get me wrong, a chick that can sing, that is amazing. That is melodic. That is angelic. Especially when your vocal cords sound like they're made of angel wing fibers or some shit like that. But Janelle Monáe got bars. She can hit that on and off switch like it's nobody's business, and she does both tasks well. She does that shit great. But I love that Janelle Monáe kind of made a seamless transition into acting. The first role I saw Janelle Monáe in, and this is the first role I saw her in. I don't know if she was in anything prior to this. Hidden Figures, and she's fucking amazing in that movie. You would look at her and just think she's an actress, like she's done this before. You wouldn't go, oh, she's a singer too. I didn't look at it like that. I was like, oh my god, like this woman, she can act. Like she seems like a natural actress. You know what I'm saying? And she does it really well. But obviously, Hidden Figures is not a horror movie. That is not that's not the movie we're going to talk about. Now, the movie that we're going to talk about that Janelle Monáe did her, singer getting scary moment is Antebellum, which came out in 2020. Now, like I said, people, I did a trailer reaction for that. That was probably one of the earlier trailer reactions I did on the show. So, but I mean, you guys can check that out at your own risk. I was still kind of getting my feet wet with the whole audio trailer reaction type of thing. But she plays Eden in Antebellum, and she plays both Eden and like a slave type of character. I really I don't know what this movie is really about. I just remember the trailer. It starts with Janelle Monáe and her friends, and the girl from Precious and Empire. She's in there too, and it's her and a couple friends, and she just like reality just gets killed at some point. You know what I'm saying? Reality gets killed, and she starts shifting from the present to the olden days and the present and the olden days, and next thing you know, Janelle Monáe's in a fucking cotton field with motherfuckers picking cotton, and it's like, god damn, y'all made a slavery horror movie? Like, what the fuck? I mean, Roots is already a fucking horror movie to begin with. Like, I don't know. Like, when I saw it, I was intrigued, to say the least. At least I remember being intrigued, but god damn, I've stayed away from that movie for a reason, because I'm kind of trying to, I'm not going to be closed-minded here, but for some reason, there's a part of me that's been trying to shift my way away from that type of narrative. I'm especially after seeing movies like Black Panther and Coming to America, where we're depicted as royalty. It's good to see us that way. I don't like backtracking and going back to the slavery thing, but racially charged horror is definitely popping right now. It's definitely a thing, but they straight up turned it into partial period piece type of shit. And that's one of the reasons I haven't watched it yet, because I know I have to really lock in. But it's like, what does she do in the movie? I have no idea. And does it work? I honestly have no idea. But to say the least, I know that the movie didn't get super duper backlash, but I know whoever I heard say anything positive about the movie, one of the more positive takeaways was Janelle Monáe's performance. And I'm cool with that, man. And especially if she can transition from something, like a biopic drama piece like Hidden Figures, if she can transition from that into horror, another seamless transition, I'm actually perfectly fine with that, man. So I gotta shout out Janelle Monáe. She is, I am starting it off with her because I have not seen that movie, but she is one of the singers that have decided that they wanted to get scary for a little bit. Now, moving along, people, number 7 on this list, and you know what, y'all, and if the ladies are listening to this, man, please forgive me. Like, I'm a man at the end of the day. I'm a grown man. I treat women with respect, but I got eyes. All right, I got eyes just like any of the fellas tuning in, listening, and I hope y'all have my back on this, because I got my hands in the air, like I'm like, yo, I'm innocent. All right, I'm not a creep and all this other shit. But number 7 on my list, she just. Let me just say something about number 7 on this list. I don't know who told her to get thick. Ain't nobody tell you to get thick like that, cause she always been fine as hell. trust and believe. Fine as hell, very talented, but the glow up, as the youngsters call it, is just whew, goddamn. But let me keep it respectful on International Women's Day. Number 7, people. The singer that got scary for a little bit is Ashanti. Now, the movie I'm talking about, a lot of people are just like, wait, Ashanti was in a horror movie? Yes, she was. You can call it what you want, monster movie, sci-fi, action type of shit, but it is a horror movie at the end of the day because it's based off of a horror property, a video game to be exact. But Ashanti comes in at number 7, and she was in Resident Evil Extinction in 2007. Damn, look at the irony, people. 7, lucky number 7. But she actually plays Betty, and the irony in that also is that she was Nurse Betty. She was the quicker fixer upper, patcher upper type of person, and she was Mike Epps' love interest. Now, like I said, Betty is a nurse, and Betty is also a badass because Ashanti does, as this character does get her moment to shine. She gets to let off some gats, and she gets to kill some crows and shit, and she gets to look fine as hell while she's doing it. She gets a nice little brief walk away moment too. Like, god damn, we're not even gonna talk about that. But again, the love interest that she has in the movie is Mike Epps. Now, what does Betty do here? Like I said, she saves lives. She takes care of people because in Resident Evil Extinction, my favorite Resident Evil movie, by the way, you guys can check out the commentary for that if y'all want. But she's the nurse, and she takes care of everybody that's in this this cavalry, that's in this motorcade that they do their cross country ventures on as they drive through the hordes of the undead and stuff like that. So she's the sweetheart. She cares about everybody, whether it be the kids, whether it be the adults. There's a scene where she's patching, Mike Epps gets fucked up because he gets attacked by the zombies by a zombie in an abandoned motel. 2 zombies actually. And he gets bitten, but his sneaky ass don't tell anybody. But she's like patching up his wound on his head and shit. And Carlos walks out of the room at some point because he's like, oh my god, y'all are just disgusting. And she's like, so dinner at my place at 8. And when she says my place, she's talking about the ambulance. So they got like refried beans and all that, like in cans and shit. Like it's such a dope moment, man. So you gotta ask yourself, does it work? And for me personally, I feel like Ashanti, the only thing I had seen Ashanti in prior was Coach Carter, I think. And Coach Carter came out in 2005, I want to say. But yeah, I had seen her in Coach Carter. She wasn't bad in that movie, but I do like her in Resident Evil because I like that she gets to be a badass. My only gripe when I ask the question, does it work or does it not? My only gripe here, people, Ashanti dies like, first of all, she gets swarmed by fucking, T-virus crows. Now, we know how them crows can be a pain in the ass in the Resident Evil games. But in the movie, in that third movie, they really get to shine it. Everybody gets attacked by these fucking crows. And it is a dope-ass scene. It's like Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds on fucking steroids and meth. But it's crazy, man. And so Ashanti basically, she does her act of valor moment, and she saves the last kid that's on the school bus, and she slams the door shut and locks it, and Mike Epps is screaming, Betty! And he's all sad and shit, but as the crows fly towards her, she just fires her gun off, and then the crows just swarm her. She gets pecked to death. Now, the only thing about that kind of irks me is the way she slides on the glass. Like, she slides on the glass, and her face is all bloodied up, so the blood is smearing, but she's kind of just sliding like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a fucking, like a VO5 shampoo commercial or some shit like that. She's just having the time of her life in the shower. It's like, how do you die sexy and gracefully in a Resident Evil movie of all movies to do it in? But needless to say, man, Ashanti's role is not it's not bad in Resident Evil Extinction at all. So shout out to Ashanti, man. I'm not even, you know what? I was about to say something. I'm not even gonna go there, people, because y'all not gonna have me in my feelings on International Women's Day. Now, let's move on, people, as fast as we possibly can, because like I said, I don't want to take up too much of y'all time. Number 6 on this list, actually, I think this episode wants me to be a creep because it's all coming, god damn, people, it's all coming full circle on the Tudor Reviews podcast like it always does. I think another inspiration for this episode the other day, this person posted a video at a concert and she did a split with ease, just a whole split, and just did her little bouncy bounce for a little bit. And she said to the audience, was like, y'all know I still got it, right? And the audience is just cheering, and she just dropped down and got her eagle on. She didn't get her eagle on, but the split, like, it's like that shit don't hurt, baby. It don't hurt because, God, man, listen, Anyway, number six, people, goes to Maya, who was in Cursed in 2004, and she played the character of Jenny Tate. Now, for the uninitiated, I think that movie actually just not too long ago had its release date anniversary also. Now, Cursed, if nobody knows, is a movie that was directed by the late great Wes Craven. Rest in peace, shout out to him. And it was written by Kevin Williamson. So you would think that a movie with Wes Craven, Kevin Williamson back together again, they're tackling the werewolf genre this time around. You think it's going to be fire, right? And this is no disrespect to Maya, but the movie, this is like one of the most disappointing Wes Craven works I've ever seen, man. It's just a very lazy werewolf movie, man. And again, that's nothing against Wes Craven. I don't know if there was like a lot of studio interference. I think I might have heard there was a lot of studio interference with this. I'm not sure. But if so, I wouldn't be surprised, man, because it's just nothing too memorable about the movie. The cast is great, though. You've got Maya in there, you've got Christina Ricci, Jesse Eisenberg, Joshua Jackson, people just keep sleeping on this guy like he's not still around, like he's not an underrated actor. Judy Greer's in here, Michael Rosenbaum from Urban Legends in the movie. Shannon Elizabeth's in the movie at some point. What's that guy's name? He played Rocky's son in Rocky Balboa. Milo Ventimiglia, whatever his last name is, he's a decent actor too. He just kind of threw me off when he was fucking his sister on the Adam Sandler movie. That's my boy. That was a little weird. I started looking at him a little weird, but I know it's just a movie, people. But Maya, this is the thing about the movie. Now, like I said, Maya plays she plays Jenny Tate, and I feel like this character, I don't think it's any fault of hers as an actress or as an artist for that matter. It was good to see her on screen, fine as hell. She's amazingly gorgeous, but I feel like this character was not written to do anything but be the best friend and be the flirtatious character, because it seems like that's exactly how she's written. She's written to be the best friend of Shannon Elizabeth, and they go see oh my god, is her name Portia de Rossi, the girl that made the cameo with Rebecca Gayheart in Scream 2. They had her do a cameo or not a cameo, I'm sorry, they had her do a scene where, she walks up to the psychic with Shannon Elizabeth, and those two are best friends. So Maya is the best friend, but she's also the flirtatious character, because there's a moment where she runs up to Joshua Jackson. She doesn't run up to him, but she encounters Joshua Jackson's character, and we do find out that he was quite the ladies' man. He couldn't keep his dick in his pants, so he's been sleeping with girls all around town. And spoiler alert, you find out that everybody that's kind of getting knocked off is Judy Greer as the werewolf, killing the competition basically of guys or girls that Joshua Jackson used to sleep with. So Maya is one of those characters, and she comes up, she's like, damn, did you just forget about our weekend? Or I can't remember the line exactly that she has. And they don't really write her to do much else after that other than just have the chase sequence with the werewolf in the parking garage. Now, it could have been a really tense, vicious ass werewolf attack moment. It could have been one of the best werewolf chase sequences where it's like, oh my god, is she going to get away? Is she going to get away? And then it's like, oh no, when she gets killed. It could have been one of those moments, but it's really not. I feel like it's really tame, but it goes on for a while where you don't want to see Maya die. So that's why I said it's no fault of her own. I just think it's the writing that just made it, I feel like she should have had a way stronger role in the movie. And for her to be, which she was, the token black girl. Wait, hold up. Like, is Maya black? I swear to God, like, I've always assumed, but you know what they say, when you make an assumption. But I've always assumed she's black, but I swear she's like a certain specific, particular type of nationality. I don't know, man. She's just heavily attractive. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, they just made her the token black girl best friend, and they don't really give her much to do outside of that. And it is very disappointing to see that, but on the contrary, it's good to see another singer get scary, to say the least, people. But let's move on, because like I said, we're not going to draw this out. Now, number 5 on my list, I go back and forth with this character, and this actress / singer, she actually just, she had a birthday as of recently, which is when I should have dropped this. But I go back and forth with this because this character goes from just attitude stank than a motherfucker, like stank. I'm talking stank a dank. And then at some point you root for her and you laugh because you're rooting for her, and what she's doing is actually pretty plausible at this point in the series that they're, you know, doing this hybrid film with. But number five, if you haven't guessed it already, people, number five is Kelly Rowland in Freddy vs. Jason 2003. Now, she plays Kia, the best friend of Monica Keena's character, Laurie. Now, let me tell y'all something. A little side note. Freddy vs. Jason is easily top five best theater experiences I have ever had in my life, people. I had a fucking ball watching this movie in the theater. Yes, the movie has so many flaws, so many sins that this movie commits on both ends, on Freddy's franchise end, on Jason franchise end. But the movie is so much fun to watch if you just turn your brain off and just, this is what I've been waiting for since 1993 when Freddy's glove came up and pulled Jason's mask down into hell. If you turn your brain off and take that into consideration, it is such a fun movie, man. Especially if you're just like, if you got a bunch of homies over and you just want to, y'all just want to kick back and watch something where y'all all are going to react in the craziest ways. Now, Kia here, Kia is another character who is written to play the best friend. Like I said, she plays the best friend of the character Laurie, played by Monica Keena. Now, what does Kia do here? This is where I go back and forth, because Kia, when we get introduced to her and Monica Keena's character and Catherine Isabel's character, I think her name was oh my god, I can't remember Catherine Isabel's character's name, but that's a girl from Ginger Snaps if nobody recognizes the name. But they're playing Marry, Fuck, or Kill, you know, in Laurie's house, which is 1428 Elm Street. And that's a good introduction to all of them. But then it's like, you know, she's very forceful. And I feel like it's because she's overprotective over her best friend. And that's cool. But there are so many moments where it's just like, Jesus Christ, lady, like, you don't have to, I hate to say, I'm not even going to say it. It's International Women's Day. I'm not even going to say it. But it's like, don't be so stank. Because she's like, you were fucking 14. You need to get over this, motherfucker, Laurie. Didn't Will just drop kick your ass without a goodbye? Like, she's just like completely shitting on Will, not knowing that this nigga stuck up at Weston Hills having bad dreams and shit for the last 17 years or however the fuck old these kids are. But, you know, and then, you know, she does her thing and there's little sidebar conversations where she's trying to hook Laurie up with Blake and stuff like that. Laurie's not having it. She just wants her homegirl to get some dick. That's all. And then we get to the part where she's at school and when they're at the cornfield party. This is when it's like, okay, I'm starting not to even like you. As much as I love Kelly Rowland, man, let me tell y'all, man, there was a point in my life where I was like, Kelly Rowland over Beyonce. I'm sorry, man. Like, I saw the potential. I saw the acclaim. And Kelly Rowland, you know, to take away from the fact that she's very easy on the eyes, she's an amazing talent. She can sing her ass off, and I feel like she does not, as far as solo singers and former group singers, she does not get the credit that she is due, man. And it pisses me the fuck off because, you know, of course, Beyonce is the headliner, we get it, but Kelly Rowland, man, she was always the one. She was always the one that should have got that credit before anybody else did. If you were gonna single out a person outside of Beyonce, it should have been Kelly Rowland, and I feel like a lot of people don't put the spec on her name. But you know, in school where Linderman comes up to her and comes up to Laurie and she's like, Linderman, she said, place your hormones back in the bag. We don't have time for data dork right now. And I'm just like, God damn, girl, like, can you give a nigga a break? At least, like, just at least. Like, I'm just trying to ease up on your friend a little bit. You don't have to be team cockblock to the rescue. God damn. And then at the cornfield party, Linderman comes up and she's like, Linderman, I always pictured you as a straight up bedwetter. And I love that Linderman gives her kind of what she's got coming to her. He's like, you know, I just thought that you didn't think I was good enough for Laurie. But then when you stop and think about it, assuming that you can think with all that makeup weighing down, like, he kind of lets her have it. And there is a moment that's a deleted scene in Freddy vs. Jason. If you guys have the DVD, or maybe you can look it up on YouTube if you guys don't have a physical copy of it. There's a deleted scene where when Linderman gets impaled on that coat rack or whatever the hell it is that Jason throws him into, and he's bleeding out in the woods. In the theatrical cut, you just see Kelly Rowland leave Linderman in the woods, and she's like, okay, I'm coming right back, I promise. But then there's an extended portion of that scene where she's like, and I'm gonna kick your ass, and he's like, why? And she's like, because if, you know, what'd she say? She said, you better survive or I'll kick your ass, or something she says along the lines of that. And she's like, you know, I don't want you to tell anybody that I did this to you. And then she gives Linderman a kiss. So it's I don't know why they didn't keep that in the theatrical cut, because that's such a good payoff. Because at the end of the day, all Kia really wanted was a nigga to put her in her place and let her know, like, yo, sit your ass down. If you want me to like you, then I'll like you instead. I don't like to flip flop back and forth to friends. I'm not Kid from House Party and shit with Sydney and Shireen, but goddamn, like if you want me, just say that. And I'll be on your top instead. And I'll act like none of that shit ever happened. But it didn't make the final cut. And does it work? Kelly Rowland's role as Kia, absolutely, man, because she gets one of the best death scenes in the movie, probably top 3 death scenes in the entire movie. And she has one of the best moments with Freddy Krueger, because that's the moment I was talking about. At this point in the franchise, Freddy's a joke. Freddy's a big fucking joke. He's a stand-up comedian. This motherfucker, I think the guy from Fangoria, Anthony Timpone is his name, if I'm not mistaken. I know I'm saying that last name wrong. He called Freddy the Penny Youngman at some point in the franchise. He said that motherfucker was the Penny Youngman of the slasher movies. And she's looking at Freddy. She's like, "What's with the butter knives? Are you compensating for something?" She's like, "You got a Christmas sweater on and you're not even scary." Like, she's fucking giving Freddy a dozen, and people in the theater were cracking the fuck up, because it's like, yes, finally somebody's actually saying saying it at this point. And Freddy starts pointing behind her, and when she turns around, Jason just swings that goddamn machete, and she goes flying like 72 million feet backwards and hits the. It was to the point where when she died, I thought she was going to get back up. It looked like she just kind of had like whiplash, and she was just stunned a little bit, like, damn, I just got fucked up. But no, she died. That was her death scene. So I think it works, because you go throughout this movie, or at least I went throughout the movie, kind of flip flopping back and forth on some, I don't like her, I like her character, but she's very memorable. Excuse me, people, my bad. She's very memorable at the end of the day as Kia. So big shout out to Kelly Rowland, and definitely a happy belated birthday to Kelly Rowland. I know that shit was like 17 weeks ago, but it's the thought that counts, right? Now, number 4, I'm not gonna get a little emotional here, and this is actually a movie I've never seen. Also, I should have put this at number 7 after the Janelle Monáe movie, because I haven't seen this along with Janelle Monáe's movie Antebellum. But number 4, actually, people, is Aaliyah, and this was when Aaliyah was in Queen of the Damned in 2002, and she played Akasha. She apparently was the first vampire, and what does she do in the movie? Like I said, I haven't seen the movie, people. I just know Aaliyah's body movements look pretty interesting in the movie. I'm not saying that to be, I'm not being a creep like people think I'm always being. I'm actually saying, like, the way that she maneuvers is like she almost acts with her body language. I say that like she almost acts with her hands in a certain type of way. Like, it's very, for lack of a better term, mystical the way she moves, and it almost looks like she's trying to like lure you in and cast a spell. It's very rhythmic, the shit that she's doing in that role. Does it work? I have no idea, people. And a friend of mine that I had shouted out on the what was it, the 10K episode, she kept asking me like, "Yo, why haven't you watched this movie yet?" Because she's a big Aaliyah fan, and I had to stop and tell her, I'm like, "Yo, I can't bring myself to watch this movie, because I know what this movie means for me. This is the last performance Aaliyah ever did, not including The Matrix, because she was actually filming, I think, The Matrix Revolutions, or was it The Matrix Reloaded? It was one of the Matrix sequels she was filming, and then she passed away. So they had to, put Nona Gay in there, and they had to reshoot all her scenes. But as far as like a finished on-screen performance, it's going to be pretty emotional, man. It's like watching Furious 7 or movies where people died while they were, their last movies are movies where people died while they were filming. Gang Related was Tupac Shakur's last movie, and it's very emotional for me to watch that movie. Because for one, I'm a big Pac fan. Two, was the way that Pac met his demise at the end of the movie. He gets shot to death by, you know, the late great Tiny Zeus and whoever the hell that short ass Italian guy was. But I'm going to watch the movie eventually, people. Now, I do have some concerns, because it looks like a very modernized vampire movie for the time that it came out. Like I said, the movie came out in 2002, but it's like, it seems like it's a lot of rock and roll music in there, and I just don't want the modernization to take away from the essence of the fact that it is a vampire movie, and it is supposed to be a certain type of way, and it's affiliated with Lestat, who's affiliated with Anne Rice. And I don't know, I'm very hesitant about watching that movie for the first time. But of course I had to put baby girl Aaliyah on the list, man. Rest in peace, shout out to her, man. Of course, always and forever. Definitely still missed. And let's get to, hold up, let's see here, people. Goddamn, I have miscounted, people. What were we on? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Okay, now we get to number 3. Hold up, let me fix my shit here, people. I think there will be another honorable mention that I will not be able to tap into as much as I can, but that's a good thing because I won't have to take up too much of y'all time and talk y'all heads off. But um, what are we on? Number 3 here, people. Number 3. This is probably one of my favorites on this list because this is probably one of my favorite movies that's on this list. No, this is probably my favorite movie on the list, people. I'm not gonna hold y'all. As far as the ones that I have mentioned, um, I like this one. This is my favorite of the movies I've mentioned, hands fucking down. So number 3 on this list, this honor goes to, and shout out to her full moon. I think there was a happy anniversary type of post she put up for her full moon album. And if y'all don't know what I'm saying when I say full moon, people, y'all know I'm talking about Brandy in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, which came out in 1998, and she plays the role of Carla Wilson. Brandy is the best friend, or Carla, I should say, is the best friend of Julie James, played by Jennifer Love Hewitt. Now, Brandy's new to the series at this point. I think I Know What You Did Last Summer had came out a year prior, and Brandy is probably fresh off off of the success of her music, fresh off of the success of Moesha, which I think was still going on around the time because it went on for more than several seasons. But Brandy's well known at the time, and I remember getting, we had the fucking troll book order shit back in the day in school. So I remember ordering for a I Still Know What You Did Last Summer catalog type of thing where they had like little tidbits about the story, and there was pictures of the cast and behind the scenes photos. I was that type of person. You know what I'm saying? I was that guy to get those types of books, man. If I saw the magazines in the supermarket, whether it was Fangoria or Starlog or Shivers magazine, I'm on it. So I Still Know What You Did Last Summer was one of the things that I used to try to keep up with back in the day. I would try to record the TV spot commercials and the trailers and shit when it came on TV at night. But not to mention I was a big fan of Moesha till it started going off the rails a little bit. But Carla, I love the character of Carla Wilson, man. I truly do, because not only is she the best friend of Julie James, but what she does is I'm not going to say she's a backbone for Julie, because she's not one of those people that's like easily influenced. She can't make her own decisions type of shit. I feel like Julie James at this point in the second movie, given what she went through and what she's scared of going through again in the second movie, I feel like she goes out on limbs. She's one of those characters like, Julie, don't do that. Where are you going? Didn't I tell you not to go nowhere? And Carla even has a line. She has a line that's you know, spoken a couple times in the movie where she's like, now what did I say? She keeps saying something to her, and Julie's like, no, and then Carla says yes, and then Julie says no, and Carla's like, well, what did I say? And then that's like the big thing that they have reoccurring in the movie, and I like that because it was a nice little, thing to be written into the script, and it made them feel like they were really friends in real life. I believed that Jennifer Love Hewitt and Brandy were best friends in real life after seeing that movie. Now, what she does do, she does leave Mekhi Phifer's character Terrell with a bad case of blue balls throughout their entire trip. But I do love that Carla wins the trip, 4 tickets to Tower Bay Island, and she's she tells Julie to come along. But the thing that does piss me off about Carla is like, okay, Ray is Julie's boyfriend. Can you respect your best friend's relationship, regardless of whether they're going through problems or not? And I understand she wants to be the best friend, and she's like, listen, do what's best for you. If that's what you want to do, I don't care. I'm riding. I'll fuck somebody up for you. And I get it, but she's like, well, good old Ray, that's good old Ray, and he's trying, but that's bullshit. Just like I said, it's bullshit. And then she's like, look at Will Benson over there. Don't you want to talk to Will Benson? It's like, stop trying to get your friend to commit adultery. Stop it right now. But you know what? That does not outweigh the fact that Carla Wilson, Brandy, and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, people, not only does she survive, but it's the manner in which she survives that works for me. Carla literally falls through like every fucking glass surface or glass wall or glass door on Tower Bay Island, and she manages to survive unscathed without a fucking scratch on her. I mean, at the end of the movie, she's limping, she's holding her stomach, her face is a little bloodied up. But she falls through a glass ceiling, like a skylight, when they're in the attic and they're walking on the beams, and she falls through the rotted wood when Ben Willis is coming. She falls through the fucking skylight into Julie's bedroom. She falls through the fucking greenhouse glass. She makes it through a glass door unscathed when Julie busts it open with an axe. And then when we think she dies, after Ben Willis fucking impales Bill Cobbs while he's on top of Jennifer Esposito, he gets a 2-for-1 special and just impales them both. He fucking swings the hook and she falls through another glass door, and I'm just like, yo, like, how does she live? But when she lived, I'm like, yes, there is a God, man. I love this fucking movie, and I love just how I love the sass and pizzazz that Brandy brought to that role, man, because it kind of was like Moesha. Moesha was given an R rating, and she was allowed to go off set and go on the set of another movie. Like, that's exactly what that shit seemed like, because she was kind of playing the same character for me, and that's not an insult. It's just to say that that's how attached I was to her as Moesha. I was like, oh shit, Moesha's saying fuck and she's saying shit. Damn, we came a long way from UPN up in this joint. So I love Brandy's performance in the movie. I love that movie in general, and if y'all don't know, y'all can check out my commentary for that. But let's move on to number 2, because we're getting down to the wire, people. Now, number 2 here is J-Lo, or officially or originally known as Jennifer Lopez, but we'll call her J-Lo for now, in Anaconda 1997, and she plays the character of Terry Flores. Now, Terry Flores, I like J-Lo's performance in this movie. J-Lo is one of those actresses where J-Lo knows she can act. I think Selena is her best movie, and I think to compare and contrast, I want to say maybe her second best performance for me is probably the movie Enough. And also, while I'm on the topic of Enough, not to get too serious, but any of the women out there that have ever went through a situation like that, like how Jennifer Lopez's character went through, stay fucking strong. Don't let these niggas out here ever belittle y'all and abuse y'all and put hands on y'all. That movie is a testament to all the women out there that are, abuse survivors and so on and so forth, man. Y'all are strong. Y'all are appreciated. Y'all are loved. I'm gonna leave it at that because I don't want it to get too heavy on the conversation. But J-Lo, it's safe to say she's got a handful of decent movies, man. She really does. But I don't think anything's better than Selena. However, one of the things that really caught my eye and my heart, because I'm a fucking film geek, is the fact that Terry Flores is a film crew director, and I love that that's her occupation in this movie. I didn't like that she was lip locking with Eric Stoltz, because I'm like, come on, man, you could have saved that role for me. I don't care if I had to be in a fucking coma for 3 acts of the entire movie. I don't care if I'm barely in it. As long as I can kiss J-Lo under the midnight sky on a boat where they're talking about how fireflies and shit, communicate with each other. I'd have been cool with that. God damn, like, can y'all cast me next time? I'll be the most extra cameo y'all have ever seen, man. I promise y'all to be memorable. But that's neither here nor there. Now, like I said, she's a film crew director, but one of the things that I love that Terry Flores does in the movie Anaconda is she takes charge, man. She takes charge even when she feels like she is not in charge. Like when John Voight jumps on the boat, everything just goes to shit, man. And Owen Wilson, he's got him completely brainwashed. Owen Wilson's like a coon in his own right. He's like, you guys don't know shit about the shit that's going on here, but this guy does. Like, I fucking hate Owen Wilson in that movie. So when the moments happen where J-Lo, not only does she have Ice Cube's back, not only does Ice Cube have her back, rather, but she takes charge, man. She takes the initiative to, okay, we got to come up with this plan. We got to do something. Okay, let me distract them and let them slide me down real quick while somebody hits them with a tranquilizer dart or some shit like that. She's always being active in this movie. I love that J-Lo, they didn't write her, because at the time, let's be real, people, and I'm not trying to be rude here. A lot of people were trying to make J-Lo capitalize. They were trying to capitalize off her fame, off her ass, if that makes any sense. They wanted her to flaunt her ass way more than she wanted to, even to the point where she got it toned down, and it was like, well, that shit's still crazy. But I'm just saying, I love that they didn't make her. Of course, she's in wet, cargo pants and boots and wet tank tops and nightgowns and shit throughout the movie. She's eye candy. She's fucking Jennifer Lopez. That's expected. However, they didn't make her just that. They didn't make her a damsel in distress running around with her titties and her ass shaking all over the place. No, they did not do that. She's a very useful character, and she thinks on her feet in way more scenes than I can count right now. The ending scene always sticks out because her and Ice Cube have to kind of devise this plan to lead the Anaconda snake up the smokestack so they can blow it the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? And even then, J-Lo jumps off that high ass smokestack. She lands in the water, and she still ain't done, man. She's got life left in her, and she grabs the rifle and shoots the fucking snake on up. And I love that, man. They made her a useful, and somebody like Jennifer Lopez, they could have easily tried to write her as a damsel in distress, but I would hope that she wouldn't even be having that shit. Because while her movies don't always hit home run style, J-Lo is a decent actor, man. If anybody has not seen Hustler, she was great in that movie. I actually liked that movie way more than I planned. I thought it was just gonna be ass and titties, but it's actually a really well directed and really well written and acted film. So shout out to Jennifer Lopez for playing Terry Flores in Anaconda. Um, you know what? I almost mentioned Sally Richardson, but she wasn't a goddamn singer. She was in Anaconda's The Hunt for the Blood Orchid. I don't know if I can recommend that. You know, if you guys are into cast and bugs and wildlife more than snakes, then that's the sequel for y'all. Now, however, number one, people, number one goes to it goes to one of the queens, and this kind of, I'm not gonna say it made the list by default, but it had to make the list because I've seen at least one of these that she was in, and she had a, excuse me, I'm sorry, this is actually, it's not a movie, it's actually a TV series that she was in, but she had a reoccurring role in here, and it was pretty pivotal for the most part because it was pivotal to the main character that was in that show. And number one, people, if I can just get right into it and cut to the chase, is Mary J. Blige. And Mary J. Blige was, now I'll mention the one movie as an honorable mention. I'll mention the one movie that that she was in that I have not seen. Is called Body Cam. I'm pretty sure it's called Body Cam. I have not seen it just yet. I kind of heard it wasn't too bad either. But the TV series that she was in that I'm talking about, and of course it is horror, so it is singers getting scary, is Scream Resurrection, or AKA Scream Season 3. Now, I know there's a ton of people that have done one of two things. They have, one, never even seen this season 3 of Scream, which is not in any relation to the first two where they changed up the Ghostface mask. Or I know that there's people that have seen it and they fucking despise it. One of the reasons I love it, I did commentary for, I think, episode 1, if I'm not mistaken. It was either episode 1 or it was one of those episodes for Scream. The reason I love it is because Queen Latifah had a hand in producing, if I'm not mistaken, and the cast for the most part is predominantly black, so that is definitely a fucking win in my book. You've got R.J. Kyler, you've got Mary J. Blige, Tyga, even though he can't act to save his goddamn life. No disrespect to him, because I don't think he's the worst rapper in the world. I just don't think he should be acting, or I think he should probably stay in his lane and not get all dramatic and stuff. You've got Keke Palmer, who's just absolutely amazing in everything, and can't wait to see her in Jordan Peele's Note movie. You've got C.J. Wallace, who is Notorious B.I.G.'s son. You've got Terrence J, for all you 106 and Park fans out there. Now, while I'm not a big fan of his acting per se, he is the football coach in this, but he's in there, man. There's a lot of black sprinkled in there, man. It's a lot of culture in there. And this is the first time I felt like, holy shit. First of all, let me just say this. And I said this before, the Scream series in general has always been good in incorporating black people, whether we live or die. We're on screen and, we get shit to do and we get our moments in the movies. But this is the first time where I felt like, they made a Scream property that's for us, for black people, because the majority of the people I'm seeing are black. I'm cool with that, man. I was digging that. Mary J. Blige, however, she plays, goddamn, I can't remember if they gave her first name away in the series, but they do. She is R.J. Kyler's character, Dion, his mother in the series. Now, they give her, I said that she's important to the show because she's important to RJ Kyler's character, and she's the one that's like, baby, listen, I know what happened to your brother, you can't be so hard on yourself, you've got football to worry about and all this other stuff, I'm busting my ass to work this job. And his character just always has the rebuttal, or not always, but sometimes his rebuttal is kind of like, well, mom, I want to get this scholarship so you can put your feet in the sand. And that's exactly what he does for Mary J. Blige's character at the end of the movie. They survive, and she doesn't encounter Ghostface to get attacked, but they do both survive, and it's a couple of them that survive, more than a couple, and the majority of them are black. And I just love the fact that she was in there just playing that maternal figure, man, and it's pretty believable. It's pretty believable. She doesn't do anything too over the top in the Scream series and the scenes that she's given. But it's enough to go, okay, Mary, like, yo, I want to see you in more horror. I would have never in a million years pictured that I would see Mary J. Blige in a Scream TV series, not even a Scream pilot or anything, man. I didn't see it. Like, I don't mean this in a bad way, even though it's going to come off in a bad way. God damn, like, just hopefully we're not dealing with a bunch of people who are just offended by everything. Y'all know I talk reckless on here, but I do it in good context. I say that to say this. I feel like certain actors, whether they came from singing or not, I feel like the horror genre and certain horror properties in particular may be below their pay grade. Because there's a lot of people that turn their nose up to horror. Like, horror, I don't want to watch people get cut up in blood and guts. That's not all it always is every time. It's a common misconception that everybody has about the genre. But I never would have thought I would see Mary J. Blige in a Scream property. So definitely shout out to one of the queens on International Women's Day. Oh yeah, and let me give my honorable mentions before we close out, people. Definitely got to shout out Feed the Foo, and she gonna be mad as hell if she listens to this episode, man, because a couple of us that know her well enough, we do call her Feed the Foo. But my daughter's mother, man, I had called to talk to my daughter actually, and me and her mom will chop it up and have conversations afterwards. So one of the things she had asked me, she's like, yeah, so what are you recording? And I was like, well, it kept slipping my mind that it's International Women's Day. I want to do an episode when singers got scary. So she actually went online and she looked out, man. She gave me some honorable mentions to throw in there because she was, going down the list, and she's like, did you get this one on the list? Did you get that one on the list? Did you get this one on the list? This is how scary it is, man. This is how you guys know my daughter's going to be a movie buff, because not only am I a horror movie buff, I mean, I'm a different level of horror movie buff, but her mother is also. But, shout out to my daughter's mother. And I'm going to call her Feedafoo again. If she listens to this, she is going to be pissed. I don't care. I'm putting you on blast. I give you 10% for what I make off this shit. But yeah, she had made some honorable mentions, and I'm like, okay, I'll put them in there. Now, these movies some of them I've seen, but some of them I haven't. One of the honorable mentions she gave me is Pink, the singer Pink, and shout out to Pink because she from the crib. I don't know if it's like Cheltenham Township or something, but you from the crib. You from Pennsylvania as far as I'm concerned. So big shout out to Pink, man. She was in this horror movie called Catacombs, which I've never seen before. Christina Milian was in the movie Pulse. I remember seeing bits and pieces of it. I did not like the way that movie looked. Rick Gonzalez was getting eaten by a wall or some shit. I didn't understand much of that movie at all. Not even from the trailers and the bits I saw. So I was just like, no, I don't know if it's like everything that is the kill. Is it like a modern remake of Ghost in the Machine or some shit? Because it looked like Ghost in the Machine would have been a hell of a lot better. The commentary for that, if y'all want to check that out. Now, one of the other things, one of the other names actually, my daughter's mom mentioned on this list was Beyonce in the movie Obsessed. And I told her, I was like, that's not a fucking horror movie. I said, I'll mention it because, I appreciate the nod. But I'm like, that's not a horror movie. I mean, that's subjective because, fellas, if y'all tuning into this, we've all dealt with some psycho stalker ass play Misty for me, Fatal Attraction, Thin Line Between Love and Hate swim fan ass chicks out there. But Obsessed is not a horror movie. I don't think it's a horror movie. The movie's okay, but I don't even think it's all that great. It's nothing that we haven't really seen before, other than seeing Beyonce's fine ass on screen and Ali Larter's fine ass on screen, who just actually had a birthday recently. See how it comes full circle, people? Because Ali Larter's birthday just passed like a week ago or so, and Ali Larter, boom, was in Resident Evil Extinction. Did we not mention that? Because Ashanti was a singer turned scary in Resident Evil Extinct. God damn it, people. I'm telling y'all, podcast profit. There's about to be a segment on the show. And the last one that is an honorable mention here is Willa Ford, who was in Friday the 13th, 2009. Now, if nobody knows, Willa Ford she plays Chelsea. She's the girl that gets topless when Nolan's driving the speedboat and she's on her skis, and Jason stabs her in the head when he's walking on the docks, and he lifts her up, and then he takes the knife out and she just floats back down, and you can see, like, if you look closely, you see the air bubbles in the machete mark in her head. You see the air bubbles popping up as she floats down underwater. But she's got a really great depth scene. Now, Willa Ford, she gets only an honorable mention here. One, because it was mentioned to me after the fact, and two, because I have not listened to Willa Ford's. I keep about to call her Willa Fortune. It's close, right? It's close enough. But I have never listened to her music. But I couldn't tell you what song she has out there. But in closing, people, because we're almost an hour into this, and I swear to God, I did not think it was going to take that much goddamn time. I gotta stop being so long-winded, man. But there was somebody out there that said, you know what? Don't ever apologize for the long-winded episodes, man. Keep doing your thing. And I said, God damn it, I appreciate it. Y'all are the ones that give me the strength. But in closing, it's like, is this a healthy trend? I feel yes. I feel it's a very healthy trend because I feel like no person should, they shouldn't have to limit their talent or their opportunities. I feel like, if you can sing, if you start taking acting classes, or if you've always wanted to act and you feel like you've just got that, that itch inside you, I feel like, sure, why not go, act? You should never have to be stuck in a box, and you should never have to be stuck in a hamster wheel and be in one place for the rest of your life. Everybody should be able to branch out and try something different. If it doesn't work out, cool. At least you can say, I tried out for that movie and I made it. My role is not all of that, but I did okay. And another thing I'm gonna close out with is a question I asked myself at the end of my notes. It said, what singers do I want to see in horror next? Let's get her up in there. Her, like her, y'all know the acronym, like H.E.R. The girl that sings, she sings Focus, and she's got that song This Way. It's her and Khalid is his name. She's so fucking amazing. And I don't know. I just feel like she could play like a cool, like, I'm not saying she smokes bud or anything, but I'm just saying she looks like she could play like a cool modern day hippie or something, like somebody that just chills on a big ass soft comforter in the woods that you just go to for advice, and you just end up, oh my God, I've spent 17 hours in the woods talking to you, and time just flies by. She just seems like she's just an amazing conversationalist. She's already a great artist. I would love to see her in a horror movie to see how her acting chops, could be, as a singer getting scary. I want to see SZA up in there. Put SZA in there as far as the female singers. Sabrina Claudio. I feel like Sabrina Claudio, if it's not a vampire movie, you've got to put Sabrina Claudio in like a psychological thriller, because it just seems like she's just psychological warfare to begin with. Janae Aiko, Jesus Christ, man, she has to be in a psychological sci-fi thriller. Like, you gotta merge genres and bend genres to put her in some shit. Put her in like some Matrix Cabin in the Woods spinoff, like a hybrid spinoff of that shit, because that's the type of vibe she gives off. That seems like that's what her personality is all about. She seems like a very complex individual, but interesting nonetheless. Let's get Billie Eilish up in there. Billie Eilish is such an amazing singer, but I feel like she could be like one of the Debbie Downer characters. Keep her image. Don't try to change her image. Keep her exactly how she is, man. She's her own person. She's an individual. That's one of the things I always liked about Billie Eilish, is the fact that she just doesn't give a fuck. She wants to be exactly who she is at all times, and I really appreciate that. So I feel like she should be like, I don't want to say the Debbie Downer, but the outcast that doesn't really fit in with everybody else, because she doesn't give a fuck to fit in. I would love to see Billie Eilish. And last but not least, we talk about bending genres and shit like that. We got to get Erykah Badu in a horror movie. It's got to happen, people. Somebody need to make it happen. Spike Lee, Jordan Peele, Ernest Dickerson, Deion Taylor. Somebody make it happen. Matter of fact, I'm tagging all them directors to this. Anton Fuqua, Donald Glover. Make it happen, man. We got to get Erykah Badu. We got to get all these singers in these movies, man. But that pretty much wraps up this episode, people. And before we close out, let me just say one more again. First of all, my apologies because it kept slipping my mind, but I'm only human, man. Don't put me up in front of the firing squad, because I'm human. But people, not even people, ladies out there who may have tuned in, happy motherfucking International Women's Day, man. And I can't stress this enough, and I'll say it again and sound like a broken record. Y'all are queens, y'all are loved, y'all are valued, y'all are appreciated, man. Y'all are protected, if anything. That is something that all women should always keep in mind. If it's any of those things, y'all have to definitely keep in mind and never forget that y'all are protected by any means, and y'all should be, man. So much love for y'all, man. And I definitely have to shout out the ladies, because like I said, the percentages went up a little bit, and I don't even care if it's just even the slightest boost, but the percentages went up in the month of February as far as female listeners go, man. And I appreciate y'all. Like I said, I try to cater to the females as much as I can, man. I know I didn't get a chance to do it as much as I would have liked to have done in February, but I did get out Love Jones and Malcolm and Marie. I try my best, man. but I feel like certain topics get me a little choked up. Like I remember I got a little choked up when I had queens behind cameras. I was just bigging up Ava DuVernay and Regina King and Cassie Lemons and all the black female directors out there, man. Lena Waithe, you know what I'm saying? I was bigging everybody up at the time, man, and I started getting really choked up because of how proud I am of y'all and how far y'all have come what female empowerment means to women. Everything that y'all stand for. I feel like y'all have always had a voice. Don't ever think that, ladies, don't ever think y'all didn't have a voice. Y'all have always had a voice in the world. But I feel like the platform for y'all is so much bigger right now. And the sky, like that limit they say that's in the sky has gotten so much fucking higher for y'all to just shoot for the moon and then some and past that, man. You guys are definitely heard. And again, you guys are appreciated. So again, before we close out, one more again, happy International Women's Day, ladies, and I hope y'all enjoy it. I hope all y'all had a really amazing, productive, positive day. But y'all already know where to go, and if y'all don't, y'all can follow the podcast on Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Radio Public, Podbean, and Podcast Addict. Shout out to Anchor. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, Romero Tudor. Shout out to the Facebook movie group, The Cinemaniacs, and shout out to the movie. My God, did I just get tongue-tied? What the hell was that just happened? I feel like a wave just hit me just now. I don't know. I'm feeling a little good right now. No coffee, no nothing. Just fueling off ice water all day long. But what I meant to say was shout out to the Facebook movie group, The Horror Virus. And last but definitely not least, shout out to the Tudor reviewers, the listeners, the lovers, the supporters out there. Sorry to get so long-winded in this episode, but y'all know I gets passionate about my shits now. But and also you guys, if you guys haven't already, y'all can check out the commentary I did earlier this afternoon for Nosferatu 1922. Actually had a really decent time and really fun comedic time watching that movie. So y'all can tune into that and tune into whatever else y'all want. Because y'all already know, man, the love and support that y'all show me, I show it back to y'all tenfold and then some. So with that being said, people, yours truly, Romero Tudor. Another episode of Tudor Reviews in the can. I'll check y'all on the next one.